Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be painting the Gladewyrm Endless Spell from the Sylvaneth army of Age of Sigmar. And we're going to start by base coating the model in a camouflage brown, which you can find at your local hardware store. Now we're going to use a Artisan Loft Crimson. This is just a general acrylic craft paint selection. We're going to use a technique called paint filling. So we've got a recessed area that has this nice little design work on the head. We're going to fill that area with as much paint as it'll hold, and eventually we're going to paint around that area, but leave the red remaining inside. Now we're going to use some turquoise to paint all of the scales down its back. We're going to do 2 coats of this because it goes on a little bit thin. Now I know this looks very, very bright compared to the rest of the model. We're going to darken it up by doing some dry brushing and some washes later. Now we're going to use the crimson again, and we're going to use this on the belly of the worm, doing just a quick single coat. We're going to avoid painting the head of the worm just yet. We're going to use a different color scheme for that later. Now we're going to use Phileo Blue, and we're going to do a kind of heavy dry brush going against the grain of all of the scales. This will really highlight the edges of the scales as well as darken the majority of the scale, but not all of it, leaving the recesses that kind of brilliant turquoise blue. Now we're going to do a quick second coat of the crimson on the belly. This will really kind of help to bring out that red serpentine belly. Now, because I went a little bit too heavy with the overbrushing here, we're going to fill in the recessed lines with some more crimson. And I'm using the finest tip brush that I have to prevent any spillover and just get the interior of these lines. Now we're going to switch to a Citadel paint, Talaren Sand, and we're going to paint the entire base minus a couple of small areas. This is just to kind of give a sandy texture or a sandy appearance for the base. And now we're going to use another Citadel paint, Cadian Fleshtone. This is going to go on the face of the worm. Now once this is dry, we're going to coat it with another Citadel paint, one of the contrasts, Rakeland Flesh Shade. This will help darken the face a little bit and prep it for the washes that we're going to use later. Now we're going to do a quick light dry brush of Artisan Loft Gray over the entirety of the base, and follow it up with a kind of medium dry brush of raw umber. And while we're at it, we're going to do a quick dry brush of the face. Now, due to some camera issues, we lost a little bit of footage, but I painted the kind of sticks with burnt umber. Now we're going to grab some deep green, and this is going to be used to paint all of the leaves on the model. Now, I chose the green because I kind of wanted them to really stand out as leaves. If you wanted to go for more of an autumn look, you could use a orange or a red for this effect, and it would look just as nice. Now we're using the gray again to pick out all the details on all of the little stones that are around the base. Now we're going to use some Citadel Wraithbone. This is going to be used to paint over all of the skulls that are on the base. Now we're going to do a coating of Agrax Earthshade. This is a wash from Citadel Paints that we're going to use to paint over all of the Talaran sand. This will help unify some of the dry brushing that we've done previously and really kind of tie the dirt sand look together. Now we're going to do a kind of all-over dry brushing of unbleached titanium. This will help pick out a whole lot of the edges across the model. We're going to do it on the spine ridges, the armor plating, and the belly. And then once the wash dries a little bit, we're going to do a very light dry brushing over the entire base. Now we're going to use the burnt umber to go back through and pick out the details of the branches once again. And then follow that up with a quick touch-up of deep green on the leaves. Now we're going to use some Null Oil, and this is going to do a kind of medium or 2 light coats over the belly. While we're at it, we're going to do a kind of medium coat over the face and the spikes coming off the side of the face. Now we're going to use some Drakenhof Nightshade, and this is going to go across all of the armored spine plating. This will really help to darken the areas of the model, as well as really let the white highlighting show through from the previous dry brushing. And now to finish everything off with a quick coating of Skeleton Horde on the skulls. And here we are with the finished piece. Alright, this was a lot of fun to paint, and I'm looking forward to doing the next couple of endless spells for the Sylvaneth army coming up soon. Thank you everyone for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe for future content, comment in the comments section, let me know how I'm doing, and we will see you next episode.